Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
Let me tell you, we have a new star. A star is born, Elon.
Pumped up on Mars, juice, and ketamine.
He is the Thomas Edison plus of our age.
Probably his whole life is from a position of insecurity. I feel for the guy.
I would say 98% really appreciate what he does, but those 2% that are nasty, they are out there in full force.
We are meant for great things in the United States of America, and Elon reminds us of that.
I'm very disappointed in Elon. I've helped Elon a lot.
Welcome to Elon Inc., Bloomberg's weekly podcast about Elon Musk. It's Tuesday, September 2nd. I'm your host, Max Chafkin, joined right now by Craig Trudell, Bloomberg Autos editor. Hey, Craig.
Hey, Max.
And, of course, Dana Hall, Bloomberg Elon Musk reporter and the regular contributor to this podcast. Dana, how are you?
Hey, Max.
So yesterday was Labor Day. Normally that's a slow day, I guess. Slow day for most of people in the United States anyway. But it wasn't slow for Elon. So Tesla unveiled its master plan part 4. These were once like a big part of a company's identity, of Elon's identity. But the weird thing about this fourth master plan was that Elon basically didn't talk about it. Most of the weekend he was tweeting about kind of his usual political interests. He was tweeting about the, quote, rape of Europe, a bunch of other niche topics, birth rates, far-right British politics, supposed voter fraud, groomers, J.B. Pritzker's cousin. It went on and on and on. Many, many tweets about all this. And the only mention, as far as I could find, of the master plan at all was the comment that, quote, 80% of Tesla's value will be Optimus. We'll get to Optimus in a second, but Craig, what is your read on this latest master plan?
Yeah, as you alluded to, this has been a big thing in Tesla lore, right? The first one came out in 2006, and it was before Tesla was really even on most people's radar. It wasn't really a company that was on the tip of anybody's tongue. It wasn't the world's most valuable car company. And it was kind of endearing. It's sort of, it was fun. It was, the title of it was something about secret master plan between you and me. It was something that people could enjoy. It was a little bit unconventional, not like other CEOs. I think the second one was sort of like that too, right? They referred to it as master plan part 2. I think we're less jokey with the last iteration. They tried to do this long-winded presentation about all it was going to take to turn the world to sustainable energy. And I feel like it was right around that time that this was a company that was all about sustainable energy to psych. It's all about AI. It's all about robots. It's all about self-driving cars and the business that you've known us for since the beginning. Forget about it. We're, as Dana likes to say, we're tired of, we're bored of making cars. And this master plan, it really underwhelmed me. It was super vague. It had a lot of platitudes, and it was very initial master plan like in that it was a lot of empty rhetoric and sort of vague platitudes and not much substance.
Part Quattro, Dana. I mean, definitely less specific. Sustainable abundance is the main theme, I suppose.
Abundance is like the new buzzword. And I'm like, are they just trying to jump on the fact that there's a book out about abundance and capture the search engine SEO terms about that? What struck me is that this is recycling stuff that has been in their shareholder decks and in their impact reports. They're even the picture of the family playing Jenga while I guess Optimus is in the background, watering the plants or something like that. We've seen those images before. And so fundamentally, I think that Tesla has a real marketing problem where you have a CEO who is clearly bored of the car industry, wanting to continue to ride this AI hype wave and convince shareholders that the future is all about robotics and AI. But they keep falling short of really being able to do that in a cogent way. And for a long time, it was all about FSD. But now I almost get the sense that Elon is tired of FSD because he's talking more about Optimus. If Optimus is going to be 80% of the value, then what is the value of FSD? He's constantly reinventing ways for Tesla to differentiate itself. Meanwhile, as Craig knows, like they've got 4 factories around the globe that are over capacity and declining sales. Like, what are they going to do with these auto plants that they built in in places like Berlin? I just think and like, why drop this on Labor Day? And the proxy is going to come out soon, but it's just like from everything from like a timing perspective and a marketing perspective and a strategic communications perspective, it's the mess that Tesla has always been.
I want to get to this sort of marketing question in a minute, but like, Craig, on this Optimus thing, Elon's own, like I said, his only comment about this in years past, right? The part uno or part and part deux were very personal documents. I mean, part was basically a blog post. Part 2 was a blog post. Part 3 was this crazy white paper. But even there, Elon spent a lot of time tweeting about it. And I went back and looked, and he was promoting it on the day it dropped. He was talking about writing it. 80% of Tesla's value will be Optimus. Craig, do you know what that actually means? Like, is there a deadline on that? Or like, at what point is Optimus 80%? Any sense of how investors should model this one?
Yeah, my inbox has been interesting. We have a lot of investors that tend to like to message authors of stories about Tesla, as you might imagine. And most of them, have been very thumbs down and sort of Bronx cheers in terms of this, and they're pretty consistent, right? Of like, how long is this guy going to keep up this shtick of trying to cover for the fact that his car business is not growing and not even really do so in a credible way? Because, these robots make for cool hype videos. They make for maybe being fun at parties, although we've seen that they've needed remote support in order to do simple things like serve drinks. Like, we have no idea when exactly these robots are actually going to be, as Musk would say, doing something useful. And until and unless we have a clearer indication of what sort of glide path we are on toward that, how can you possibly come up with a credible sort of line about how much value this product is going to be for this company in the next few years?
I'm also just like stymied by the ever-changing mission of the company. So first it was to celebrate the advent of sustainable transportation. Then it was widened to be sustainable energy. And we saw products like the solar roof and the Powerwall and the Megapack, which are real products and actually are like a growth driver of the business at this point. But now it's sustainable abundance. And it's like, what does abundance mean? Am I supposed to think that like, if Optimus can water my garden, that's somehow abundant for me? Like, I actually enjoy watering my garden. Like, what I don't understand, like, what is abundance supposed to mean? Is it time? Is it wealth? Is it like freedom from mundane tasks? Like, if you look at these shareholder decks, like, Optimus is pushing a baby carriage. And is that the product that Elon is now most excited about? Because it certainly sounds like it based on his posts on X.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe I'm reading too much into this. I mean, I think it's the idea that these Optimi will eventually staff factories and be much less expensive than human workers, and therefore our stuff will get much, much, much cheaper. It's the kind of like utopian, like Sam Altman. I mean, obviously Elon and Sam Altman have their differences, but like the kind of techno-utopian idea of AI. I mean, that's my reading of it. But like, to your point and to Craig's point, Optimus, according to this very short master plan, is, quote, changing not only the perception of labor itself, but its availability and capability. So making it sound like Optimus is already put to work. There are these pictures that Dana mentions in this thing. One is an Optimus working in a factory. It looks like with some little chemical vials. There's also a very nice one of a like kind of a high-end party scene where the Optimus is serving drinks. Another one where the Optimus is watering the plants. Well, I guess the family plays Jenga. Some really, pastoral scenes. But like, is Optimus even in the Tesla cafe still? Remember, we had those videos where it was making popcorn. Are we seeing more Optimuses out in the world? Do we have any sense of actual progress here?
I think Musk was asked about this and has been asked about this the last couple of earnings calls, and he's been really sort of reluctant to give firm timelines. And I think my favorite on the last earnings call was, it's really hard to talk about the beginning of an S curve, but, it's much easier for me to say 5 years from now, there's going to be these really big numbers of these things to talk about and that it's just going to go like gangbusters. But actually pin him down on, but when exactly are we going to see these being sold to customers outside of Tesla, not just used by your own employees? And he won't really say. I think the closest he got to that was back in January, where he said maybe second half of next year. For him to be, again, talking about...
Which in Elon time could mean anything from second half of next year to second half of next decade.
It's so ironic for him to say, it's easier for me to talk about 5 years out from now and harder about the near term, when even his super fans make jokes at his expense about whenever he says 2 weeks, be skeptical about something actually being ready 2 weeks from now.
Dana, what is happening with Tesla's auto sales? Like, there have been a couple of bad quarters. I know that there are bulls who are sort of hoping that the anxiety over the EV tax credits going away as a result of the passage of the big, beautiful bill will lead to sort of a spike in sales. Is there any sense that things are going to turn around in terms of car sales in the near term?
Tesla operates basically in three markets: North America, Europe, and China. And in North America, sales have been down quarter over quarter, mostly because of the backlash to Elon. And I do think that the third quarter will see a bump because people are trying to get ahead of these tax credits that sunset on September 30th. But in Europe, as Craig knows, sales have really cratered in all of the key markets. And then in China, there's this growing competition from BYD. And so you're seeing Tesla now push into new markets, like the Cybertruck is going to be available in South Korea, and they started selling cars in Turkey, and they've got 600 cars I think they've sold in India. So the only thing that they can do is expand the map, because their core map is cratering. And that's just hard to do, because that means growing in new markets is not as easy as sustaining markets where you were once the market leader. And that's what's so, I think, crazy making to all of the longtime Tesla investors and early employees who just remember how hard it was to make the Model 3 and to get production at scale. And then they made the best selling car in the world, and Elon is throwing it out. He has not done anything personally to really market the new Model Y. We've heard nothing about the Cybertruck. I mean, I've written about this before, but I think fundamentally this is a person who wants to be in the arena where everyone else is focused. I think in his mind, he solved the problem of making an affordable, high-quality electric car, and he's bored, and he's moved on. And, the fact is that, tens of thousands of employees in all of these factories and this entire global supply chain have not. And so how are they going to – and, it's selling the cars is what is going to fund projects like Optimus.
Well, that's what's crazy about this document. I mean, it doesn't mention affordability really at all. It suggests that Optimus will make things cheaper by the mechanism that I've suggested. But there's no talk of the cost per mile, any of these things that we've seen Elon talk about, where you could squint and see how automation and the old mission connected to one another. That was sort of the point, if memory serves, of part deux. The crazy thing is that the third one, which I went back and scanned. I didn't reread the whole thing because it's 30 pages long.
40 pages,
yeah. It's a weird document from another time because it's entirely about clean energy. And it's very much a Biden era, we're going to solar. And it's just wild to think that the guy who created that would then turn around the next year and endorse and then do all this stuff to help a candidate who is really committed, as we've seen, to dialing all that stuff back, to getting rid of solar installations, getting rid of wind farms, getting rid of these tax credits that have been very good to Tesla. What about the robo-taxi rollout? So you have the car sales going down. There have been, over the last couple of weeks, a few little developments in robo-taxis, Craig. I think Tesla has repeatedly increased the area under which these taxis operate in Austin. They also said that the availability of robotaxis would increase by 50%. I guess we could take that to mean that there are now 15 robotaxis in Austin instead of 10. But like, where do you think this is going? Do you think we're going to see a bunch more cities in the coming months? It almost feels like he's going to have to do something like that to avoid even more investor backlash.
Yeah, I think he was able to be moderately successful, I would say, in getting cars onto the road at least, even if it was with employees in the passenger seat, even if it was with super fans in the back seat, trying to sugarcoat every sort of issue that they had or problem that they captured as they incessantly filmed on their phones, because it did still generate the buzz that was needed for the sort of Tesla bubble on X. And sometimes that is enough. And I think we then saw the company try to kind of replicate that in San Francisco, as we know, and we're able to see well in advance that's not going to be doable because of the regulatory regime there. And so they don't actually have cars without people behind the wheel there. They're doing this token indication that they're growing in Austin. Before they increase the area where these cars can run around, you already were having people trying to use the service who were finding really long wait times because there's not that many cars available and not a huge user base, not many cars on the road. That makes this, sort of headline indication that they're growing in terms of the service area meaningless, right? You're not actually seeing a business yet for Tesla anytime soon. And this is really continues to be a stunt.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, it's all meaningless just because, I mean, these are not driverless cars. We don't know anything about the economics. If I'm an investor, like, I don't know what to think about any of this. Like, clearly, we've seen from other companies, it's possible to create something that looks like a driverless car service. Like, Cruise has done it. Waymo has done it. Tesla is doing it, but not quite. So I don't know. But I do want to try out a theory on you both that I've been thinking about as I was digesting all this, which is that what we're seeing is sort of a quiet rebranding that Tesla is doing. And I don't know if it's happening because of Elon or despite Elon, but I think it has two components. One of them is the one that Dana just mentioned, which is that sustainability is out, abundance is in, right? Like, he's not going to talk about sustainability, and that kind of makes sense because we're in a different political climate and everyone is into AI, including investors. But I think the other one, and this one to me is more subtle, is that Elon is going to be less of a factor in the Tesla brand. There, recent episode of Jay Leno's car podcast, I think it's called Jay Leno's Garage, featured two Tesla executives not named Elon, Lars Moravy and Franz von Holhausen, talking about the company. And even this unbylined marketing document that Elon is not talking about, it feels like there's a little bit of an effort, maybe even a deliberate effort underway to untangle Elon from the kind of like future of Tesla. Am I just seeing things, or is that real, do you think?
I think that the two are so intertwined. It's like, I can't think of another auto executive more intertwined with the brand than like you'd have to go back to like Lee Iacocca and Chrysler to find someone else who was like such a pitchman for the company. And that has always been the sort of problem with Tesla, is that they don't really have a marketing team. They have influencers, but like Elon has always been the public face of the brand and the only person who can speak for the company until recently. And to your point, like now they are putting more executives out there. But like Elon will forever be tied to Tesla, which is why so many people who are upset about Trump being elected are A, will never buy a Tesla, and B, will never step foot in a robotaxi. Like, that's the other thing. Like, how do you grow a ride-hailing service where the same people who like have stickers on their car or are like selling their cars, like they're never going to set foot in these vehicles. Like, he's been the CEO of this company since 2008. He's like the longest tenured CEO of any automaker currently. I don't think you can decouple it like that easily. It's like cemented in people's minds forever.
I think there may be something to this theory and not necessarily by design, because if anyone were to come to Elon and say, hey, Elon, the problem we have is you're just a little too close to the company. People associate you with our cars a little bit too much. Maybe we should back on down from that. They'd be thrown out. Maybe there's someone very smartly behind the scenes in some dark rooms at Tesla Austin who've drawn this up. But I think to Dana's point, they're going to have a really hard time actually executing it if that's the case.
It just felt like, especially this weekend, Elon and Tesla were pushing in two different directions. He was tweeting about the AfD. He was tweeting about far-right UK issues. Tommy Robinson, this extremely divisive figure in British politics, he's backing this far-right political party in the UK. Tesla's sales in Europe have been really bad. And so it's like on one hand, Tesla is attempting to kind of reset the narrative. On the other hand, Elon Musk is out there just doing his poster thing, just posting about the most divisive stuff he could think of.
He is now getting behind a party that is to the right of Nigel Farage, right? A party that thinks that Farage is soft on immigration. To give people a sense of this is like I don't know, it's a U.S. equivalent of trying to find someone who thinks that Stephen Miller is too soft on immigrants, right? And it is so incessant, his posting about the UK. And before that, it was all sorts of posting about Grok Imagine and, what
the porn thing that we talked about last week. I mean, I shouldn't say porn. The companion, the barely legal, right. sensual companion that his company created.
Yeah. And just getting this guy to post at all about Tesla, it seems to be a chore. He'll repost this master plan. He'll comment on somebody who was a little bit confused about, okay, so what are exactly the next steps of executing this master plan? And that's where we get his, 80% value posts. These absolutely are just quick little divergences from the culture wars and his chatbot.
All right, before we go, I just want to bring up one last thing with you guys. And this is going very deep in the kind of Elon universe, the Tesla universe. But a bunch of fanboys noticed a potential new Tesla vehicle. Now, I don't think Tesla has given people any reason to think this is real, but in a video that was released of the Tesla design studio, in the very background, you could see what looked like perhaps, Dana, a Cybertruck SUV, like an SUV version of the Cybertruck. And I think the basis for this feels very, very thin, but it hasn't stopped a bunch of fan sites from writing articles about it with little red circles around the relevant portion of the video, leaving aside whether it's real or whether it's not. And I think the answer is that it is not real because Elon Musk has said over and over again that autonomy is the only thing. There's been absolutely no signaling about this. Plus, it really seems like the steel architecture of the Cybertruck didn't really work. But do you think a cyber SUV would be a hit on the streets of the United States of America or even in South Korea?
There has always been this question of is Tesla going to make a different kind of truck? Would they ever make a normal pickup truck, like a F-150? Or would they try to tweak the Cybertruck to be less expensive in some way? And I saw Lars Moravi speak in the Bay Area a couple months ago, and he was sort of vague about it. They're always thinking of things. But to be clear, the Cybertruck was a complete flop. That thing is not selling. It is wildly expensive. It is the poster child for Elon and politics. It has a niche audience, but it is nowhere on the S-curve. And so the fact that they would make an SUV version of a failing product doesn't really make sense to me because the Cybertruck itself has not been successful. So, I guess you could make a Cybertruck SUV, but I don't know what the market would be for that. The Model Y is really popular. That's their best-selling car. I don't know. And then if you look at the master plan, they've talked in the past about making the Robovan. So who knows?
Is it Robovan or Robovan?
Robovan,
I
right.
Remember.
I don't think Elon knows, Max.
Yeah.
Yeah, this to me felt like, it's very Taylor Swiftian. The Swifties talk about Easter eggs in her videos and lyrics and stuff. This was a total Easter egg for the Tesla audience to, very clearly slip in a little something from the design studio to get everybody excited. And we'll see if it ever actually leaves that studio.
You're probably right, Craig, because I don't know, you put something in the background of a video, people are going to see it. But yeah, very strange. Also, the typical buyer of a 3-row SUV, I'm not sure that really fits with this sort of Cybertruck like F you, whatever it is, whatever the Cybertruck thing is, it feels like pretty far from the kid hauler.
The Cybertruck is like a tank for the apocalypse, and an SUV is like you want to drive the carpool to soccer. So I don't. So
I mean, the divorced dad's got his kids like every other weekend or whatever. He's got to take him around somehow. I guess like that's a possible.
I think Jeep is going to be okay. I think is what we're arriving at is our conclusion here.
All right, Dana Hull, thank you for being here.
Always a pleasure.
Craig, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
This episode was produced by Stacey Wong and edited by Anna Mazarakis. Blake Maples handles engineering, and Dave Purcell fact-checks. Our supervising producer is Magnus Henriksen. The Elon Inc. theme is written and performed by Taka Yasuzawa and Alex Seguiera. Sage Bauman is the head of Bloomberg Podcast. A big thanks to our supporters, Joel Weber and Brad Stone. I'm Max Chafkin. If you have a minute, rate and review our show. It'll help other listeners find us, and we'll see you next week.